to Solar Power World Solar Speaks Live, powered by Unirac at the Solar Power International Show in Anaheim, California, 2015. I'm Kathy Zipp, and today we're speaking with David Field, CEO of One Roof Energy. So thanks for being here, David.
Kathy, thanks for having me.
So I always like to hear about how people got into the solar industry and a little bit more about your background. So would you share that with me?
Sure. My background is predominantly in project finance, structured finance, which lends itself very well to residential leasing, as an example, which is what we do. I've been in the renewable sector for about 25 years, and I got into solar after being recruited to run a building integrated PV manufacturing business in the mid to late 2000s.
Wonderful. So what are some challenges that you see in the residential sector with homeowners buying solar, and how is One Roof Energy innovating to change that process?
That's a great question. I think that one of the biggest challenges we see is awareness. It's basic education awareness. And most homeowners across the country really don't know that solar power is available to them,
right?
Particularly in the advent of just purchasing kilowatt hours off the rooftop. When they are made aware of that, undoubtedly those qualified homeowners become customers of ours and others.
Wonderful. I was actually just having a conversation with an Uber driver yesterday. He was so fascinated that we were in town for the solar show, and he was, after talking to him, I felt like it was just all about education, and he was saying, why wouldn't somebody go solar? And I'm like, probably because they don't know about it.
That's true.
And then once you give them the option, it kind of is like a no-brainer in many cases. So that's
Absolutely.
wonderful. So I know that recently you released a statement on the White House's Clean Power Plan in August. So how do you think that this plan will help the residential and commercial solar market?
I think it goes back to almost the last question. That is what the White House is doing, actually bring much more awareness to the segment. And it's not then just at the consumer or the mass public level, it's also with financiers and other investors.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're seeing many more entrants into the space with respect to parties and institutions that want to invest in and fund solar projects, and in turn homeowners that want to deploy solar.
Very important stuff. That was exciting. So what are some trends that you've seen this year, and what do you expect to see going into next year?
I think one of the big trends that we see in the residential solar space are the vast number of new solar sales and marketing companies coming into the space. A lot of companies that have otherwise served homeowners in different capacities, whether it's retail energy, whether it's bundled communications and other services, are starting to now begin to look at how they cross-sell solar into the home.
Well, I think it'll be very exciting going into next year. We only have more momentum in the industry. So last question, just kind of a fun one. We're getting to the end of day one at SPI. We're getting ready to go into the cocktail hours that will be starting soon. So besides those, what are you most excited about for this week and just being at the show this year?
I think what's absolutely wonderful and fascinating is just the vibrancy at this show. The vast numbers of people, both attendees, exhibitors, conferencees, and others. There's a air of electricity, no pun intended, around the show, and it's great.
Absolutely, the energy has been very high, and so even though the days are long and busy, I think they are fulfilling, and it's going to be a good show. So, all right, well, that wraps up this edition of Solar Speaks Live at Solar Power International 2015. And David, thank you again for being here. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for the opportunity.
Well, make sure to stop by throughout the show because there will be other interviews with solar experts. Thanks, everyone.